Radio in TV.
Radio in TV.
He's absolutely Jason, he's absolutely gay. He'll absolutely brighten up the darkest rainy day. He's funny and loves movies, he's smart and he's a Jew. He's an actor and an activist and wants to hear from you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Absolutely Jason Stuart. And here we go again. We're going to hear that music by my kid, my friend, Ashley Hunter, and her husband, Dave Kirsch. They wrote this together for me. I always like to give them a little plug, so if anybody needs a theme song, hit me up, jasonstewart.com, S-T-U-A-R-T. Today, we have one of my dearest friends, like my sister, actress, comedian, producer, Lydia Nicole. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. You mean like your sister or am your sister?
No, like my sister.
I'm your sister, man. What you talk about?
Yes.
I'm your sister from a different mother and a different father, but I'm your sister.
All of a sudden, she has this weird accent. And Brad.
Hello, darling.
Thank you so much. Brad is a new friend. We met in New York at one of my worst shows ever. We were doing a show at Gotham. And there was like literally 10 people there. Am I right?
Right.
And this whole group of drag queens that were not having me.
Right.
And that is the perfect way to get into. We'll start with you.
In fairness, they weren't drag queens. They were trans.
Oh, were they?
They were trans.
Oh, my God, I forgot. Well, thank you for putting me in my place and embarrassing me on national podcast. Because, I'm in the movie Tangerine that has to do with trans people. That's actually starting at Sundance, opening on Friday the 23rd. Yeah,
gorgeous.
I play Joey the doorman.
Joey.
I play Joey the doorman, yeah. And it's so funny because, of course, when you go to New York, as you come here, you want your set to kill because you want everybody to think, oh, my God, there's this new guy. And it was like, for some reason, it was a really cold night and just not a lot of people came.
Yeah.
And it was like these transgender gals were just not having anything.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, my God. And I so have been a fan of your work for such a long time, just on the net.
Thank you.
Because I've been told about you.
Yeah.
Because someone would say, oh, there's another bald guy with a goatee. And since I'm older than you copied me.
No, I wasn't intentional. This was nature did this to me. This was not an artistic choice.
Well, mine is, because I have lots of hair that I can use for my back. So Brad, folks don't know you. Mm-hmm. So this is the real big reason that I love having people like you on the show, because I can introduce them to all my fans and all the people who listen in. Brad is one of the funniest comedians I've ever met. He's absolutely hysterical. He's so completely fucking inappropriate that I am. I don't know whether to kill myself or go bowling.
you get the vapors.
Yes,
when we perform
and
together.
Even here talking, he immediately announced to everybody that he was a bottom.
Gotta advertise. It's Hollywood,
and that's not happening with me. So how did you start doing comedy in New York, right?
Yeah, a billion years ago, right after the Continental Divide.
What year did you start?
I started not too terribly long ago. I started performing professionally when I was 12 years old. I was in the theater, and I toured nationally and trained professionally as an actor in the music theater, and worked from the time I was 12 until the time I was 22 or 23, and then I found I hated it and no longer loved it at all, and all my passion had gone away.
From the theater?
Yep, it felt like punching a clock because actors are mentally ill and usually very stupid.
Lydia, do you think we should just leave right now?
I think we should beat his ass. I
think we should completely just leave.
If you find anything, if you go to the national...
I am an actor.
I know, as am I.
As am I.
And there's no mental illness here.
I just didn't like it. I didn't like being in rehashed productions of shows I'd done 100 times.
So it wasn't really creative?
No, not at all. For me, recreating the exact same performance and being contractually obligated to stand in the exact same spot.
That's the part that makes me crazy, yeah.
For 6 months, 9 months. I mean, I once did 3 back-to-back different productions of The Music Man. So by the time we got to the third one, if I said the word shapoopy one more time, I was going to kill a baby. It was just too much. And I took a couple years off in New York in my early 20s to have my quarter-life crisis. And then everyone said, you have such funny stories, you should really try stand-up. I mean, it'll be kind of adjacent. It's still performing, but it's your own creative expression. And I literally tried it one night. at a club, and it went well. And the man who produced that show liked me and came up to me afterwards and said, "You're going to come back every single weekend. I'm going to put you on stage whenever I can, in between people when people don't fill in, and within 6 months you'll be 2
Who was
years
this,
ahead."
and what club was this?
His name is Ron Poole. He's no longer in the business.
Still
wonderful. It was
big
at Don't
shout
Tell.
out.
It was at Don't Tell Mamas, the cabaret club in
that's where
Midtown
they,
Manhattan.
for those at home, that's where they started. If I'm correct, you tell me if I'm wrong. Torch Song Trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with Harvey Firestein. and
Or no, sorry, La Mama. You're thinking of La Mama.
Oh, I am, okay.
Experimental theater on the East Side.
Okay.
Don't Tell Mama's in Midtown.
So there's always a mama. Not
There's
to tell.
always a mama. There's always mamas around.
Not to tell.
And then and like anything else, especially comedy, it's so kind of grassroots where you can just, when you're young, go to open mics, just start getting up, start creating. One thing led to another. A gig led, an unpaying gig leads to a paying gig, and then.
But how kind of someone to really take you under his wing.
No, it really was.
That never happened to me.
And it certainly never happened to me in theater, really. Although I was doing well, but I think it was also just that thing of, it was time for me to go in that direction, and so it's that universal thing of like, when you start walking in the right direction, it's like the blades of grass bend in that direction to make it easier to walk.
So you've been doing it, around 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years. So.
Well, you're just terrific. And here, Frank, I want to show a little clip of Brad's stand-up. And this is, I think, at the Duplex. I'm not sure.
Maybe,
You'll tell me.
yeah.
I got to stand up straight.
My father is a truck driver who drives a Harley Davidson, plays drums in a rock band, and sells loose joints out of our basement to college kids. So you find a Father's Day card for that. Yay. And he's like, truly, swear to God, I was obviously terrified to come out to him as a teenager, and I came out very young. I came out to them when I was 13, and in upstate New York, which is so much fun. If you ever get a chance, don't do that. But so I went up to him. I figured, my dad's a good time when he's drunk, so I was like, maybe if I just tell him when he's drunk, kind of jovial, it'll just be fun. We can just pass it off. So one morning at breakfast, I'm proud of you for staying with me through that. I'm proud of you. I went up and I was like, so Dad, I'm a lady, hey. And he responded like you would expect that man to respond, and he got real serious. I remember all the color drained from his face, and he looked at me dead on. And as stone cold serious as I ever saw him his whole life. He was like, so great. So what you're telling me now is that for the rest of your life, you're just going to run around, sleeping with people and partying and drinking and doing drugs, and you're never going to get married, you're never going to settle down, and you're never going to have children? Shit, boy, you are living my dream.
So funny.
Oh, thank you, doll.
So, you know what I love about it is that it is stories with tons and tons of funny things on the way.
Thank
and
you.
I'm just so impressed. And also 10 years, you've certainly made your mark in the gay community. Now,
I've been lucky.
for folks at home, January 28th, we are doing a show together at the Laugh Factory here in Long Beach, California. It really is a great club.
It's a great
gorgeous.
club. It's honestly one of the best comedy clubs I've seen in the country. Just space-wise, it's beautiful. The sound is great.
It's like a Vegas room.
Yeah, it really is. And it's large and really kind of grand, but intimate. Like when you're sitting in the audience, when you walk in, you're like, wow, this is a big theater. And then as soon as the show starts, it feels like you're just right there in front of the person.
Jamie Masada, the owner, certainly did it. And we're working with Dana Eagle, Maureen Langdon from New York.
Langdon I know
She
very
called,
well.
and I had gotten a lot of reference about her, and I went online and saw her, and I thought she was great. And two new kids, a guy named Casey Levy and Heather Turman, both really what I call hip, cool. She's from L.A., he's from San Francisco, and I try to put on three, mainstays, and then two really somebody that's really cool and happening.
Now, is it true you may have added a third new young lady who I went to college with? Winter Spears.
Yes, she's doing a guest set.
Yep, we went to college together. We were in the same class at
She's
the same
been on the
conservatory.
Show.
We have not seen each other in probably 10 years.
Oh, my God.
So this will be a reunion.
She's going to do a little guest set. She's
Fabulous.
really new. She's only been comedy a year. She comes from the theater, singer, musical theater. And I'm really, really excited to have you. And Dana, Dana Eagle, is she the funniest?
Oh, my God. Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Funnier than anybody I've ever seen in my entire life. And I work with her in Vegas, and they didn't know that two gay people were going to be on the bill. It was supposed to be a headliner, gay,
Right.
And because of that week that we did it, they completely changed Vegas, and now they're doing 2 headliners every time.
Oh, awesome.
Instead of doing one, most of the time, unless it's somebody really, really, like a television star.
Right.
And because he didn't know, he had never seen her act, he was just recommending. He said, oh, yeah, everybody called and said she was so great.
Right,
but didn't know she was a lesbian. Because, of course, if she was a lesbian, she'd have an outfit.
Right. And a crew cut and,
And everything. So, and you also work incredibly... I guess every cruise, you work for Atlantis?
Yeah, I work for Atlantis Events and RSVP Vacations.
Okay.
They're kind of two sides of the same coin. They're both chartered luxury cruises for the gay community, and they bring on all their own entertainment. So from headliners like Patti LuPone or Deborah Cox or Andy Bell from Erasure to the comedians in the club, the piano bar people. They bring on the drag queens, the singers, everything like that. And I'm going into my fifth year. I'm going into my 5th year with Atlantis. I've done over 30 of their cruises in the last 5 years. And RSVP, I'm actually their cruise director. So at Atlantis, I'm on stage
Cruise
as
director?
Yeah, I'm actually their cruise director. I filled in for Atlantis' cruise director when he had a bereavement, very last minute, because I knew all the guests. And
what does a cruise director do?
Well, a gay cruise director doesn't do much but say dirty words on stage and remind you what time you get into port. So I'm perfect for it. There's a lot of drinking, and it's like Julie. I walk around with a clipboard. People ask me where the bear event is. I do a silly pool game where I dress up like B. Arthur. Things like that.
Oh my gosh!
Just silly fun stuff. But yeah, we have a wonderful RSVP. It's their 30th anniversary.
Well, maybe you'll hire me.
I don't get to hire. I don't get to hire.
I would go with you. I'd follow B. Arthur anywhere.
That would get confusing though, because then people would start walking up to you and being like, "Brad, you told me we were leaving at 2 p.m." And you'd be like, "I don't know.
I don't know. Ask me." We'll be back in just a second. We'll start talking with my friend Lydia Nicole, and we're here with Brad
Loekle.
Loekle. Yes, I want to get it right. We'll be back in just a minute. Please stay with us on Absolutely Jason Stewart.
Hi, I'm Sheriff John Bonnell. You're watching T-Radio. Radio and TV? What? Perfect. Why are you asking me to do this after 12 drinks?
Hey, my fellow thoughters out there. I'm Charles Shaughnessy. Check out my new show, Here's a Thought, with Charles Shaughnessy, August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T-Radio V. Now, you know I have a lot to say, but I want to hear what you have to say. So tune in, grab your phones, call me, tweet me, email me in the studio, and let's get this conversation going. Here's a Thought, starting August the 7th, 3 p.m. PST, right here on T-Radio V. That's radio in TV.
Hi, I'm Bob Nalbandian, and be sure to watch my show Inside Metal, which airs live every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on T-Radio V. I'm going to be bringing in the greatest heavy metal artists live right here in the studio. Once again, every week at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, every Tuesday, right here at TRadioV.com, radio in TV.
Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
And we're back right here on Absolutely Jason Stewart with my guest, Brad Loekle, comedian, who's going to be working with me at Jason Stewart and Friends at the Laugh Factory here in Long Beach on January 28th, along with Dana Eagle. And I got my friend Lydia Nicole. And Lydia and I have been friends since we were 19.
Yes.
We met at an actors support group, which
Yes,
was
we
really
did.
wonderful. And you actually helped me get in. We met through Louisa Lashin, who is a writer, producer, actress,
Showrunner.
showrunner. Is she a showrunner now?
Yes, she's
Uh,
been a showrunner for a while.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is she's on Matador, am I correct? Oh, no, the other one.
Dawn of the Dead? Or,
No, it's the one with George Clooney. It was with George Clooney, the
Yes.
Quentin Tarantino one. Yeah, because Matador got
on
canceled.
El Rey TV.
Yeah, which is really cool. It's in the new Latin channel. That's Robert Rodriguez's channel. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
We've been speaking on Facebook. We seem to talk all the time. It's really neat. And she's an old friend. She actually, you know how I met Louisa. I met Louisa. I was an extra on What's Happening. That's how old I am. we were extras together, and I drove her home. We were fast friends forever. And she told me about this group, and that's how I met you, honestly, I think.
Yes, that is how we met.
Now, first thing I want to say is Lydia has this solo show that I just absolutely adore, that she's touring with in college on occasion. You're doing the college things on occasion. Tell us the new name of the show, because it has
A Rose Grows in Spanish Harlem.
And it's probably one of the best solo shows I've ever seen. And I've watched her grow in it. I mean, the last time I saw it, I forgot where I saw it. Oh, it was at a festival, a women's festival that you did.
The
it
Los
at.
Angeles Women's Festival.
So before we even get started, I want to show people a clip of Lydia's solo show and let you guys see a little taste of what she can do as an actress and performer. This is really just...
On the border of Harlem and Spanish Harlem. So I had the best of both ghettos. My mother was black and my father was Puerto Rican. I like to think of myself as a little café con leche. My mother was a prostitute. Not to be confused with your everyday, ordinary, common crack hoe. See, Mommy was more of a Barbara Barbara Stanwyck kind of hoe. Only she was high yellow, wore a babushka around her head, was about 100 pounds heavier, and sucked on her Paul Moss, and was brutally honest. Now, Poppy was a dashing Puerto Rican Errol Flynn with the grace, charm, and elegance of Cary Grant in his 60s when he was married to Diane Cannon in her 20s. Mommy decided to leave Poppy and the oldest profession during her first trimester carrying me, which wreaked havoc and cast doubt on who was my daddy. The story that you are about to witness is my childhood adventure, my personal quest to show that Poppy was my father, despite any of Mommy's claims to the contrary. Poppy, take me to the Bronx, okay? Okay, baby. Tomorrow I prepare.
So people can hire you to do this show by going...
Absolutely, please.
Yeah, by going to LydiaNicole.com.
Yes.
Now, Lydia Nicole, I'm talking to you like, and now Lydia Nicole.
Well, thank you, Mr. Stuart.
You've had an incredibly eclectic career. I mean, you really have. When we were kids, when we met, you starred in one of the iconic films, Stand and Deliver, with Edward James Olmos, Esai Morales.
No, Esai was not in it. It was...
Wasn't Esai?
No.
Or you would know.
It was
Why do I think
Lou Diamond Phillips.
But what was Esai
No,
in?
Esai was in La Bamba.
With Lou Diamond Phillips. Of course
Yes.
I know, because that's when I fell in love with him.
There you go.
And I've known Esai, and if you're listening, please don't shut it off the show right now, because what I'm going to say is inappropriate. I want to marry him. He's the one for me.
Okay, I don't think so, but okay.
Yeah, you're so wrong.
Okay, Jason.
I just love
Okay,
it.
let him go. Let him go.
Yeah, and Rosa DeSoto was in it, and so many wonderful, wonderful actors. And that film changed your life.
No, The Jeffersons changed my life.
But I think I don't agree. I think that show...
I'll tell you what Stand and Deliver did for me. It gave me the courage after I did that show to go do stand-up.
Oh, it did?
That's what Stand and Deliver did for me, because after I did that movie, I was designated the speaker to take that movie all across the country.
Come on, what really happened, come on, let's tell the
okay.
truth, is that none of the kids in the movie who were in it really had any experience. You were the only one that really could. It was like, it wasn't even designated.
So I told Warner Brothers, you need to send me out with this movie.
Right,
and they did.
And I said, hey, will you take me to the premiere? And you said, oh, you're too crazy.
I took you to, what
no,
are
but
you
you remember what you said
about?
first. I said, Lydia, I'll be there to support you. And that's when, I think when we went to the premiere of the movie, that's when our friendship completely changed, because you realized that I was in your court. Because I was so crazy in my 20s. Come on, I was completely...
Yes, you were.
Yeah, but you realized that how much I love you.
But I loved you too. I still love you.
I know, but you realized, I think, at that
fest.
moment.
No. Stop.
Well, that's when I thought you did.
Always loved you.
I thought that's when it just sort of kicked in that you knew
For you, it kicked in.
You can
like
trust
that.
me. as I felt like you
No,
could trust.
I trusted you before then. You
All right,
when
forget
we-
it. I'll pretend. I'm
Okay.
trying to say something nice, and I'm trying to say something.
Jesus, Jesus,
Christ on a
hallelujah.
cracker. I'll just treat you like any other
Okay,
guest.
thank
and
you.
I'll-
Thank
that'll
you.
be it. That's it. You're fired.
Yeah, but Stand and Deliver did give me the opportunity to see that the thing I wanted to do, which was stand up, that I could do it, and so I did. You know,
which evolved into you being a solo artist.
Yes.
Which I think is really where you belong more than anything, because I think your show, and I know you have a follow-up show coming to it, was just, if people have not seen this show, you know, and can I be candid?
You can say
it's about
whatever you want.
it's about a woman looking to find out who her father is. Your mother was a prostitute, your father was a pimp, and you became an actress. And your father, for people who don't
For
know,
real.
you know, was your stepfather, and you're trying to find out who your dad was. Tell them about your family a little, and so people can know a little bit more about the show
Well,
and your journey with this.
Well, I grew up in Spanish Harlem in the 60s, early 70s, and you know, I grew up in a neighborhood where it was pretty much on the outside, it was the low life of the community.
Pretty
you
rough.
know, the gang, well, let me not say that, because we didn't have gangs. Everybody was a criminal. It wasn't a gang. They were just criminals. And you know, we just, you had prostitutes, you had pimps, you had drug dealers, you had them all. But there were people, you know, and for me, they impacted my creativity. I started playing drug users, watching them.
Well, that's how, and I think
So-
that's what really got you your first big thing, which was a two-part, the Jeffersons.
Where I
which
stabbed
was,
George.
where you stabbed George Jefferson, which was a pretty big deal at the time. We have a picture of that, of you, a black and white sort of scratchy picture. I think it was in a
Yes.
newspaper. And I think it was in TV Guide or something like that, or in the TV Guide of
TV Guide.
the newspaper.
Yeah, that was TV
And
Guide.
of you stabbing an iconic television figure, and all of a sudden you started to work like crazy all through your 20s. I mean, tell us some of the shows that you were on.
I did Hill Street. I did
Hill Street Blues a couple times?
3 episodes of Hill Street. I got to do 30 something. I you know, anything that either required a Maria or a drug taker or a little prostitute. That's what I got to do.
You
So
got-
and a thug. You
Yes.
know, my favorite thug part was with Robert Blake.
in Helltown. His follow-up show to Beretta.
He actually
before he killed his
showed-
wife.
Yeah, he actually showed the clip on Johnny Carson and talked about me.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. He just said to me, you know, when I saw you, I knew you were my little druggie.
Wonderful. I'm glad he didn't say you were my little criminal, and we can kill people together. And you probably said, it was just a show.
Yes.
You know, George.
Only in the movies.
It was only on TV. I mean, killing George, not in real life. You know, I'm not going to help you kill your wife. They're actually changing. You know, Fratello's, I think it's called.
Yeah.
They're actually changing it. Some big star bought it. I think
Oh, really?
Sheila E. And it's starting to do a show there. They're changing the name of the club. I think.
Oh, that's
The
funny.
reputation is there. And you went on to do so many things. You worked with Farrah Fawcett and Shirley Ralph
Yes.
and Bonnie,
And-
the late Bonnie Franklin in a great
And
movie.
Rosemary Clooney.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
God, and I was there. I got to
You got
actually
to
meet.
come.
I got to meet that, and that's how I think. I don't know if I met Shirley Ralph through you or
Yes,
met
you
her.
did through me.
Did I? Because I
You
also,
met many people through me, Jason.
but I think I met her before at PBS when I was on that phone line. It was my first sort of celebrity thing. That remember the publicist Dejan Aragon
Yes.
got me on. I think that's what it was. And of course, you were in the movie, another iconic movie, Hollywood Shuffle.
Yes, I
You
was.
played Robert Townsend's
I
hairdresser.
was in the movie and I was working on the movie.
Yeah, and you've been working with him,
Learned how to do guerrilla filmmaking through that movie.
and you've learned. You guys have been partnered on a lot of different things. You've done.
I've worked with him on about maybe 7 projects in the last 12 years.
Yeah, and you've been producing with him and assisting him and
And learning a lot about show business from another perspective. You know, I think when you're an actor or a comic starting in the business, you know, your thing is, well, when I get that agent, when I get that when I get that project, when I get that thing, then it's going to happen. And the truth is that you make it happen. You know, that's what I learned. It doesn't matter what level you are in your career. It's really about you getting out there and making stuff happen for yourself, because there might be 5 people in this town that have things happen for them, but for everybody else, you have to make it happen.
I remember when you sent your picture in resume in, and I think I was in your apartment when this happened, to Robert Redford for Indecent Proposal.
Well, actually, no, it started before. I had a thing for Robert Redford. Hello, Eric Roberts, who I love.
He just walked in.
Hello.
I guess he's
okay. All right. Hello. That's okay. We're sending you besitos.
I wish you would have just come in for a second.
Anyway.
Eric Roberts has a show coming on in just a second after us.
I love him. Not like
Robert Redford.
Yeah, not like Robert Redford. I love Robert Redford. So let me tell you, I stalked him.
We'll come back and we'll talk about that in just a second here on Absolutely Jason Stewart. But I will be seeing him this weekend at Sundance.
Yes, tell him
Jealous.
He owes me.
He doesn't owe you. He put you in the movie. She's so argumentative. We'll be back in just a second on Absolutely Jason Stewart with Brad Loekle and Lydia Nicole. Stay with us.
Hey, hello, this is David Faustino, and you are watching T Radio V. Do you see what I'm saying? It's television crossed with radio. It's all together. It's weird. Radio's in the middle of it. It's amazing. You're watching it. Go.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Hey geeks, wake up, we got big news. I'm not gonna mumble this time. Geekscape, the long-running movie, video game, Let me do one more. Hey geeks, we got big news! Geekscape, your favorite show about movies, video games, comics, and TV is coming to T Radio V, Monday, October 6th. And it'll be on every Monday from then on, 7 p.m. Until the apocalypse happens, we're all eaten by zombies.
Hello, T Radio V.
Hello for us.
Hi, guys. My name is Steve Renazizi.
My name is Mary Elizabeth Ellis.
My name is Katie Aselton.
You're watching TV on the radio, but you're not watching it, you're listening to it, because radio on TV.
Hi, T Radio V.
Keep that radio going inside that television set.
I love T Radio V.
Trust her.
T Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV. Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
Hey, we're back at Absolutely Jason Stewart with Brad Loekle, comedian extraordinaire, and my good friend, actress, producer, solo artist Lydia Nicole. So we're talking about Indecent Proposal, which is the movie with Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson and Robert Redford, which really completely put Woody Harrelson on the map as an actor in movies, you know, from Cheers. It was his big, at the time, people don't remember this. And you actually had a part in the film. And tell them, everybody, how you got that part.
Well,
because we used to sit around and do this.
Jason and I, that's how we bonded.
That's how nuts we were.
No, we weren't nuts. We were very proactive with our career. We would send out pictures and resumes every week. We'd make a list.
Let's tell people what that is. In the mail, people. It's in the mail.
Yes.
We have an envelope and we write a letter with a pen on a piece of paper.
That's right.
We'd actually write the letter.
That's right.
I mean, it was
we
like
didn't
crazy.
have any kind of computers back then or tablets.
Oh, no.
So we would write our letters every week. We would
There's
have
some
a
kids
target
now at home.
list.
I'm going, what's that, Mom?
We would have our target list of what directors or what shows we wanted to be on or what films. I mean, we were really dedicated to do this. And so I had my list, and Robert Redford was on my list. And so I started sending him pictures and resumes. And when he was doing Milagro Beanfield Wars, which was about the same time as Stand and Deliver, I kept trying to get in there to have a part, because it was the Latino movie of the year.
Right, there's going to be a lot of big movies.
And so they kept sending, he finally sent a note and said, you're not right for anything right now. It got so bad they had.
But he said it from him?
Yes, they had.
I didn't know that.
They had the office call my agent to say, we don't have anything for Lydia right now, but when we do, we'll have her come in. And so then a few years later, I found out that they were doing Indecent Proposal with Adrian Lyne, who I worked, my first job as an extra was Foxes with Adrian.
That's with Jodie Foster.
With Jodie Foster and the girl from the Cherry Bomb girl, the little rock star girl.
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Anyway, Curry, I think something Curry. Anyway, so I sent my picture and resume. I got a call back. I got a call to go in. And this was one of the few times where you get to go on an audition and you actually hear everybody's audition. I was sitting in a trailer so small at Paramount that I could hear them breathing in the next room.
Can I tell you something? I absolutely love that. It calms me down
So
to
do
no
I.
end.
So
you know why?
do
Because
I.
all of a sudden it sort of breaks the what's happening in the room, and then you hear someone yell and scream. You go, God, there's no yelling in this.
And I was the last one to go in, so I had heard all the notes
Scott
from the
Baio was in
casting
it.
director.
Scott Baio.
There you go.
Sally Kellerman, Lois Smith. Oh,
We're
Sherry.
talking about Foxes.
Sherry Cume.
Sherry Curry. Cure?
C-U-M-E.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we
you're
moved
right.
on.
Curry.
We moved on. So
It's not my
I
show
heard
anymore.
everybody talking about, their what they were doing and what was appropriate, what wasn't appropriate. So when I got in, I was ready. And when I went in, there was no one. They were pairing people up. So this guy was getting ready to leave. I said, "Oh no, you're going in with me because we're getting this job." And he looked at me like I was crazy.
I did that once on
And-
Everybody Hates Chris. I said, they switched something around. I said, just do what I tell you to do.
Hey,
And we
because
got
you
it.
know. And so I went in
Yeah.
there. They put me on tape, and I got the part. And so when I went in,
That must have been the beginning of putting people on tape, because
Yes.
that was like in the 90s, right?
yeah, no, I don't remember, but yeah, whatever it was, I don't know. But I went in the day we were shooting. And I go find Robert Redford. I said, "Hi, Robert, it's me, Lydia," because I knew he was waiting for me, right? And so for the next 3 days, it was Robert and I together. I told the director, I said, "I want to do whatever Robert is doing. I want to sit right with Robert," and he let me. He let me sit in the rehearsals with Robert and Demi
But
Moore.
remember, for those at home, know that Lydia was in her 20s then.
And I was crazy.
She was young, but so when you're young, you can get away with that kind of stuff.
Oh, but
Now, if you
just-
do it, you seem like some desperate old.
It was one of the best experiences I've ever had. It was just delightful. But I say that to say we were always sending letters and our pictures and resumes. We'd go once a week to a studio. We'd pick a studio and have lunch so we could meet people. And
I don't think we ever really met anybody at a studio. Did we ever really?
Yes, we did. We
Who?
met casting director.
Well, we go there, but I mean, no one ever
assistants.
came up to us when
But
we had
doesn't
lunch.
matter.
Right, yeah.
And at
You weren't
Paramount-
sitting at the soda fountain, and they're like, "You there, young
I want-
boy with some hope in your eyes.
But it
I'm going to
doesn't
make
matter.
you a star."
We were working and we were getting into offices back
Uh-huh,
then, before
yeah.
9/11.
Yeah.
We were going in, we were...
No, it's true. I mean, when I started in New York, especially out of training and doing theater twice a week, you know what I mean? You'd go through backstage. This was 2000, but you were still sending out headshots. You were still sending out comp cards. You were constantly submitting. You were constantly keeping an eye on who had cast what had just been decided, what was out of town, maybe coming to New York, so they'd need to replace some roles. I mean, it's definitely a 20-year-old's game. I mean,
I always tell
I mean,
people that if you were a plumber, you would have to publicize your stuff. And as an actor, you have to do the same thing. You can't wait for representation to do it for you. You got to get out there and let people know who you are. And I wanted to hit on the mentorship because I thought that was really important that you talked about.
And I just happen to have a web series
Called
called
Mentor.
And we didn't even plan it.
And so that's how my stand-up really started to take off, because I worked for Patrice Rushen, who was a jazz pop musician.
Right.
And she allowed me to open for her when I first started doing stand-up for like 6 months. I would go everywhere in LA and open for her. And it was so
Which was perfect for
important.
you.
It was.
Because it was
great.
music. You had come from the radio world. It was really comfortable for you. I think it was a great match.
And I think everybody should connect with somebody that can mentor them, and then they could turn around and mentor somebody else. I think that's really...
And if you want to watch a series about mentoring, you
Watch
can go...
Jason Stewart's
Well, I did a
Mentor.
series because
Yeah,
I
I
started
know.
mentoring kids around 8 years ago called, from the LifeWorks program at the Gay and Lesbian Center. And then all of a sudden these kids started showing up at my house. And this kid, Paul Laya, and I became friends, a straight Middle Eastern boy, and we did a series based on that. And I haven't even told you this. I was doing stand-up at the Laugh Factory on Thursday, and Judd Apatow happens to walk in, who I've known since we were kids. And he's starting to talk to me. And apparently he knew me better than I thought he did, because I thought, oh, God, because I'm like really nervous, going over to him. And he says, oh, yeah, remember we worked at the Gala Cabaret and this happened? Da, da, da. I said, I got this web series. I wonder if you'd watch. He said, sure, here's my email. And he just sent me an email back, and I'm still, and what's interesting, after being in the business this long, I still get excited about possibility. And that means that because I love my show, I love the work. If you like Girls, which is his show, if you like Curb Your Enthusiasm, if you like Louis C.K.'s show, you'll like mine. It's a comedy drama about what it's like to get older in show business, and the idea that when you mentor these kids, which I didn't even realize, they start to mentor your back.
It rekindles your fire. It reminds you why you did it.
That's why I need people like you around me. We're going to be back in just a second. We're talking here with Brad Loekle and Lydia, Nicole, and absolutely Jason Stuart. Please stay with us.
Hey, hello, this is David Faustino, and you are watching T Radio V. Do you see what I'm saying? It's television crossed with radio. It's all together. It's weird. Radio's in the middle of it. It's amazing. You're watching it. Go.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Hey geeks, wake up! We got big news. I'm not gonna mumble this time. Geekscape, the long-running movie video game. Let me do one more. Hey geeks, we got big news! Geekscape, your favorite show about movies, video games, comics, and TV is coming to T Radio V Monday, October 6th. And it'll be on every Monday from then on, 7 p.m. Until the apocalypse happens, we're all eaten by zombies.
Hello, T Radio V.
Hello for us.
Hi, guys. My name is Steve Ranazizi.
My name is Mary Elizabeth Ellis.
My name is Katie Hazelton.
You're watching TV on the radio, but you're not watching it, you're listening to it, because radio on TV.
Hi, T Radio V.
Keep that radio going inside that television set.
I love T Radio V.
Trust her.
T Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
I'm Laura Samoza.
I'm Sterling Gardner.
And we are Between the Sheets every Monday here, 3 p.m., tradiov.com.
T Radio V.
That's right, it's T Radio V, Radio in TV. What is that face?
She wants to see our hands.
That's Radio in TV. Wah, 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 wah.
We're not a couple.
T Radio V. Radio in TV. Radio in TV.
Hey, we're back here at Absolutely Jason Stewart. And I also wanted to remind folks that they can watch Brad on The World's Dumbest on True TV.
True TV, World's Dumbest, every single week. We're in our 7th year. It plays differently in different markets, so just go to truetv.com.
And it's also, they have tons of really cool reality shows that you can watch.
Yeah.
And he's been on it for 7 years with Judy Gold. And who else is
Judy
with you?
Gold, Lonnie Love, Chuck Nice, Danny Bonaducci.
Danny!
He and I have a lot of fun together.
Oh, I love Danny.
He once French kissed me during a taping unexpectedly.
Really?
Yep.
I used to do his show all the time. He was so great. Does he live in New York now?
He lives all over the place. He usually, when he's filming the show, will film in New York because he was in Philly for a while. I think his new show's in I think his new show, though, is in Seattle. Don't quote me on that, but I think
cool.
he's
Well,
West
please
Coast
tell him
again.
I said hi.
Absolutely.
So we were talking about, during the break, we're talking about just like in the gay community for openly gay comics, that how difficult it is
Right.
in getting gay men to come to the show. Though I don't want to say anything negative
Right, right.
about because I have an incredible amount of gay guy
Sure.
fans.
As do I.
But just to get them to come to events is really hard. And I think it's hard in mainstream clubs because there's still that stigma that they're going to be made fun of.
And
don't-
they are to a great extent.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
still there.
if I go even in Los Angeles or New York, if I go do a set at a mainstream club, although there might be some racial diversity, some gender diversity, 2/3 of the straight male comics will make a fag joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And not a gay joke, a fag
No,
joke.
make a fag joke. Which
Yeah.
I can then play off of and take power away from, but I'm not there every night. You're not there every night.
Right.
So for gay audiences, there is no reason to show up where you're going to be lambasted.
Yeah.
But don't you think they make fun of every minority?
Not
or
in the
every
same way they
group?
do us. There's a line that they cross with us that they would not
You know
cross
what?
with any other group.
I'd have to disagree a little bit.
But I'm there
because
all the time.
I have to disagree because they take advantage of Latin people all the time, or they take advantage of black people in a certain way.
listen,
and
I mean,
they-
No, you really can't say much about black people. I think the black comedians.
The comedy
have
club, but the comedy
have
club
really
scene
stood
is
up for
still a
that.
world where Latinos appear on Refried Fridays
Yes.
and women only appear on Ladies' Night. However, even then within that market, it is the fact that if I go on stage and do a ridiculous cartoonish impersonation of a black person's voice, not only does the audience usually have an issue, and understandably so, it's low-hanging fruit, but none of the other comedians or the club owners mind. Or they would mind from me.
Yeah, they
when
would.
someone goes on
Wait,
stage and was like, you know
wait,
what,
wait.
that's fucking gay.
You're saying that they would mind.
Yeah,
yes,
they would mind.
In
They
the
would
black
say,
community, yes.
absolutely.
The Latin community, there seems to be. You're right. There is it's not as fine of a line.
I was introduced at a major club in a very liberal city by a black host of the show who said, all right, we got a faggot coming to the stage now. And so I just got on stage and said, the funny part is if I say your word in response, I'm now going to be the one in trouble. I mean, and that's not. Did
the audience laugh?
Oh, they were like, ooh. I mean, and it
So it was
started
more
a
of
thing,
a
but I
woo,
was like,
yeah.
but why would I do this? Why wouldn't I just go do
Exactly.
shows in an environment? In the same way that if it were 1961 and I was black, I probably would be at a point in my career where I'd say I'm not going to walk through the kitchen to get to the club. If you're not going to let the people who look like me in the show, maybe I shouldn't be doing this gig. I mean,
So do you
and that's just a personal thing.
Do you think that the industry doesn't have a lot of openings for openly gay comics that are men?
Well, but I also think it's a combination. Gay men don't show up for gay men, artistically and not just in comedy. Gay men don't support gay male artists in music overall. We get very concerned about where we food shop and what airlines we fly on and what fast food restaurants we eat at, but we don't get very concerned about turning the dollar we've taken away from an enemy and turning it to an ally. We don't get that. Then we suddenly say, well, I shouldn't have to listen to
But I think
someone's
that's
music if I
also.
don't like
I think that's also in certain parts of the black community.
Sure.
Definitely in the Latino community.
Sure.
I think I think we have a problem accepting ourselves.
Sure.
So it's easier for us to go accept the white guy or the
Sure.
white woman.
Well, I wrote a
just-
piece recently. I don't know if you read it for the Advocate, and it was after Chris Rock had talked about racism
Right.
in Hollywood. So the Advocate asked me to write a piece about homophobia in Hollywood. Now I don't think it's just homophobia. I'm agreeing with you. I think it's the white heterosexual Christian man that gets to play everything. You know, Christian Bale gets to star in Exodus as a middle-aged, Jew. Jew, but a Middle Eastern middle-aged Jew.
Right.
I mean, the white pasty British guy is now Jewish, and doesn't look at all, and that's okay. So if you're white and Christian and heterosexual, you get
But
to play everything.
I think part of it is that they're
But if you look a
comfortable.
little-
I think they're comfortable
Sure.
with their team.
Sure.
And anybody who doesn't fit that
Sure.
bill,
But I think it's even deeper than that. It's not that they're just comfortable. It's just that there's permission for that team to do anything.
Sure.
So when a white heterosexual Christian man is born, hey, here's your pie. It's hot. It's fresh. It's homemade. But with the rest of it, here's the black community. Well, you get half the pie. Here's the Latin community.
So how do we start giving
'cause-
ourselves our own pie?
But here, that's what I.
That's-
Well, you
that's
recruit your own series. You have a
Listen.
show called Absolutely Jason
Right.
Stewart, and you invite on a gay guy and a Latino and black woman. You completely keep supporting and mentoring your Middle Eastern kid on your web series. You do everything that you can to pay it forward. And I believe, I'm doing this film Tangerine. And I'm going to share something really just emotional for me. So one of the producers texts me back this morning. He says, I'm going to give you a pass So you can go everywhere with us. And like one of the producers, I'm just an actor. I have a couple scenes in the movie that's coming to support the film. And I said, oh, thank you. You didn't have to do that. He said, yeah, we did. You've been so incredibly supportive, because the lead actress, I've been talking to her every day. She's new, and I've been mentoring her. And I thought, I just hung up the phone and started to cry, because what a sweet thing to do, and also to
you're being acknowledged.
Yes.
And that's wonderful.
Yeah, and you know that about me.
And
I'm
that's
saying that right here on the air. It was so... I just, I don't expect things from people like that, because, it is a long road to get here, to get to the point, to get to this.
I think that when you give, it's given back to you. I mean, I just think that.
But I never expect it.
Yeah, but
I don't expect
if you're
things.
planting seeds, you got to get fruit sometime.
Right. But I also didn't think of it. I thought, this woman is a transgender actress who's starring in this film. She came to this town, didn't have a pot to piss in, and wanted to work, found this guy, did this movie, and she's scared. She's never been to Sundance, and she wants to do a great job. And I just love that she wants to really, show up for herself. And I want to say, I said,
and I love that you want to help her.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
But why wouldn't you? That's what I don't get. We were talking about, off the air, we were talking about, hey, let's change books. You live on East Coast, I live on West Coast. We have different books of work. I think that's always a thing to do, but I have met people that think...
But we're like minds.
Yeah.
See, the problem is it's finding people who aren't of the same mindset, who is willing to open up and go, oh, that's an idea, that's a possibility. That would be cool, you know?
Well, we started doing that way before it was cool to do it. And we didn't even know we were doing it. That's the thing, is we were in this group called Actors Rap Together. Actors Rap Together.
And part of the...
I know, which tells you what year it was.
Part of the...
we're rapping.
Well, I think, when I look back on it now, part of the big thing is that you couldn't come to the group more than 2 weeks without contributing something.
Gotcha.
You had to bring a tip. Otherwise, you were asked to leave.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, you had to bring a tip every week. And
I forgot that.
we kept
tabs.
That
was easy for us.
We kept tabs. If someone didn't bring a tip 2 weeks in a row, they were asked to leave.
God. And you had to be sponsored to get into the group. And she sponsored me, and Louisa did, because a lot of the people didn't want me, because I was nuts. I was doing my act in the thing.
Before he was doing stand-up.
I was like 19 or 20 or 21 years old. I was a baby. I was just trying to fit in and figure out where. And I remember there was one gal that went to work for the network, Lorraine, she completely just, every time I talked, she'd go, can you just please? Remember?
I have a few friends who we have the rules of no acts during event. Like, we'll be like, we're going to lunch, but no one gets to work on anything. We're having a human being lunch where human beings talk about their lives, where no one...
We haven't set that boundary.
You have to
when you get to be our age, we're so tired, we don't have anything to talk about.
No, but you have to catch each other, too, like, because people will try, I'll be like, you are blatantly trying to sneak a new bit in and see if you get a rise out of me. Stop it, Queen, that did not happen. You were not there last night. I saw you on Facebook. Stop working out a joke. You did not go on a date with somebody new.
So we're getting to the end of the show. I'm not going to have time to show your new show, but I want to please tell everybody about your new...
Common Sense Mamita. It's on latinheat.com, and I dispense Common Sense every week.
So, and they're really, really funny, and they're wonderful. And you can, if you forget how to get to it, just go to jasonstewart.com, Stuart, and I will send you right to her website. They're absolutely wonderful and terrific. And her daughter, Lexi Grace, actually produces them for her.
She directs
and produces them for you.
And edits. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
her and Vincent Smith.
And Brad, what do you have coming up?
I have a couple dates coming up in Fort Lauderdale in February. I have our gig in Long Beach. I have a slew of gay cruises.
How do we find you?
BradLoekle.com, Loekle. And because there's no other Brad Gay Comics, if you type in Brad Gay Comic to Google, you literally find me directly.
Oh, I love
so
that.
There you go.
I love
Excellent. And then you could go to YouTube to find me, or LydiaNicole.com.
Yeah, just go to Lydia Nicole. Everything, just go to, I always think it's best just to go to someone's name and you find everything. Please Facebook us, Twitter us, tweet us, lick us, taste us. And thank you so both for being on the show. It's just a joy. I think you get emotional today. That's just who I am, I guess.
You are watching T Radio V. Radio and TV.